Like, were you bored in high school Spanish class or like,
I was pretty bored. Yeah, it wasn't really engaging.
what language did you study in high school?
German.
And how did that go?
Well,
The same word could mean 100 different things.
I took 3 years of Spanish in high school, and the only thing I remember how to say is, ¿Dónde está el baño? Does that sound familiar? Because that is probably the most common thing that people say to me when I tell them that I'm a Spanish teacher. So, why did you forget high school Spanish? Do you get that? You get the wink? Most of us took language classes in high school because we had to. It was a requirement. You either had the choice between Spanish, French, or German. So you chose Spanish, like the wise, intelligent, and extremely attractive person that you are. And let's be honest, you kind of hated your Spanish classes. You were extremely bored out of your mind, and you probably would have rather watched your grandparents send a text on their smartphones instead of learning about the 10 million different tenses in this extremely useless language. But there was that one cute guy or girl in your class, so that was a plus. Then you went through your 2, 3, maybe even 4 years of high school Spanish, and here you are in the present day, and you don't know a single word in the entire language. How did this happen? How did you go from spending 45 minutes a day, 5 times a week in a Spanish classroom, only to forget it all and probably majorly regret it?
I regret it today.
Well, it's not really your fault.
I failed absolutely miserably. I couldn't even tell you one word. I couldn't even say hi or goodbye. So, yeah, it was the toughest thing I ever did.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it's really common for people to forget a language that they studied in high school. Why do you think that is?
You know, I probably didn't put the effort into it that I probably should have. I was really interested. I regret it today, but I just didn't pursue it probably as heavily as I should. I didn't take it that seriously.
Did you study a foreign language in high school?
Yes, I did too.
What did you study?
Spanish. I only went up to Spanish 3 and Arabic, which I took one semester and I did horrible. I got a D in the class, so I wasn't able to progress to the next semester. So after that, I was like, all right, we're going back to Spanish.
And do you remember Spanish?
Un poquito pero malo.
Okay, that's better than most.
I use it more often than I actually did in school because, we live in Southern California. I use Spanish with some of the staff members at the hotel that I work at.
Brian, what language did you study in high school?
Spanish.
And how'd that go? Do you remember anything?
I remember like a fair bit. It was really just my college classes that started to teach me more, but it kind of laid the foundation. The best way to learn is just practice, but also I just want to talk it, speak it, which we usually don't do. So.
All right, so we're actually at my old high school right now. This is where my friends and I used to eat lunch. And no joke, right behind me, right here, is the quad where I took all of my Spanish classes, my 4 years of high school Spanish classes. I would like to say that I love all of my Spanish teachers, and they are the reason that I speak Spanish today. But for many of us, they're not the reason that we speak Spanish. The first reason you forgot everything from your high school Spanish classes is because you were bored out of your mind. In fact, you probably didn't even learn much at all in your Spanish classes because you were so bored, you were super unengaged. You were probably daydreaming about being a famous rock star who only sings in English and never Spanish. Riddle me this. If you're bored in a classroom, are you learning anything? No. If you would have been engaged, having fun, been relaxed, you probably would have learned and memorized much more Spanish than you did.
I was pretty bored. Yeah, it wasn't really engaging.
I am here with
Megan.
and
Abdul.
okay, and both of you are studying Spanish in high school, is that right? Okay, so I want to hear your thoughts, Megan. Like, are you learning? Do you feel like it's hard?
I feel like it's a little hard, but in our classes we kind of learn about the culture and like the grammar that goes into learning Spanish. So I think it's a really useful skill to have, especially like regardless of what foreign language it is. I think it's really nice to kind of branch out and learn about other places and the languages that they speak there.
Abdul?
I think I'm learning. Sometimes a struggle getting the accent perfect. My teacher always knocks me down.
What?
But it's really cool, like seeing how words, like the same word, could mean 100 different things in all these different languages.
The second reason that you've probably forgotten Spanish is because no one ever told you, hey, if you want to get really good at this Espanol thing, which you probably don't because it's extremely dry and terrible, but if you did, then you should go out into the real world or online and try speaking it with people. Speaking makes you learn a lot. El reciclaje, which means please don't recycle here. Now, there's this crazy concept behind learning a language, and that idea is actually using it in the real world instead of in your textbook. Now, I know that may seem ludicrous, but people actually verbally communicate with each other in the Spanish language. And if you had been more encouraged to speak with native speakers, you'd probably be a Spanish wizard at this point. Hi everyone, I'm here with...
Julie?
Okay, and Julie, I have a question. Did you study a foreign language in high school?
Yes, I did study English and Spanish because my Spanish was
It was kind of bad.
bad.
And how is it now?
I think it's better. Yes,
What do you speak more, English or Spanish?
English. Yes. Take any languages that you can because it's actually worth it. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
What do you think is the hardest thing about learning Spanish?
Oh, wow. For me was the writing and the reading. Yes. Good luck.
Thank you. Nice to meet
Thank
you,
you.
Julie. The third reason that you can only say dos cervezas, por favor, is because no one ever told you, hey, Spanish is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. You're probably going to end up working with someone who speaks Spanish. You probably know someone who speaks Spanish. Spanish is easily going to help you make more money, and you might even date someone who speaks Spanish. Almost daily, students will tell me things like, man, I wish I'd taken Spanish seriously in high school. My boyfriend speaks Spanish, and so does his whole family, and I wish I could talk to his parents. Or, dude, everyone at my work speaks Spanish and I can't communicate with any of them. You forgot Spanish because you weren't doing it out of love or excitement. You were doing it because you were required to. And no one ever told you that Spanish is awesome. What do you think is the hardest aspect of learning Spanish?
I'd just say getting the accent down and remembering all the words like on top of your head when you need to give like a presentation.
Okay. Megan, what do you think?
I think learning how to pronounce things, honestly, like once you get the basic conjugations down, it's more like practice and memorization, but like the accent is probably the hardest thing.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. The second you stop working out is the second that you lost your Spanish abilities. And I don't mean going to the Iron Church. I mean working out your Spanish muscles on a daily basis. You don't use it, you lose it. You don't speak Spanish, you lose it. I used to be an Olympic arm wrestling, heavyweight bodybuilding archery champion, but I stopped being consistent in my training, and now I'm just an extremely cut, handsome, and intelligent underwater basket weaver. I stopped going to the gym, so I lost my Arnold Schwarzenegger archery abilities. Alright, so now that we know why you forgot high school Spanish, how are you going to relearn Spanish? Well, because I don't want this video to be too long, if you go to SpanishWithNate.com, you'll find out exactly how. That's me being like, hey, go to SpanishWithNate.com. You know, hey.
Go to SpanishNate.com.
So, everyone who's watching this video, SpanishWithNate.com.
Give them all of your money.
Everyone, listen, SpanishWithNate.com. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. I know there was a lot of jokes going on in this video, but I hope it made you laugh. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like and leave me a comment letting me know why you forgot high school Spanish or just any other high school Spanish stories that you might have. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.